You wake up, check your phone, commute to work, scroll through notifications, and repeat. Life often feels like a looping script, an exhausting cycle where you operate on autopilot until the routine stutters and breaks down. We usually categorize this matrix as a societal trap built by corporations or algorithms. In reality, the prison is biological. It is a literal perceptual trap generated by your own brain. Cognitive scientists call this interface theory. Over millions of years, human evolution optimized our eyes and ears for survival, ignoring objective truth entirely in favor of symbols that keep us alive. This diagram shows the logic of our senses. On the left is a blue folder icon on a computer desktop. The folder is a useful fiction. It doesn't actually exist as a blue square. On the right is the truth, cascading streams of binary code and electrical voltages. Our physical world follows this exact pattern. If you step into the street, you see a speeding truck. You do not see the complex quantum probability waves or the vast empty space that makes up the vehicle. You process a high-resolution icon because the raw physics of the truck are too complex for a survival dashboard. If the physical universe, including space and time, is just a simplified interface, where is the underlying source code located? Escaping the matrix is a matter of perception. It requires waking up to the fact that your entire life is a rendered interface. Simulation theory is often treated as a modern Silicon Valley discovery, but it was reverse-engineered thousands of years ago. Ancient Indian seers used the mind as their laboratory, stripping away sensory data to see what remained. They identified a rendering engine called Maya. In this framework, reality is an infinite, formless field of consciousness. Maya is the function that fractures that field, creating the illusion of separate objects, individual people, and the passage of time. Humans aren't just passive observers in this system. As this visual metaphor suggests, we function as individual terminals. Each mind takes raw, formless data and processes it into the shared network we call the world. Objective reality is actually a subjective output. The world takes shape only because the mind of the observer is constantly measuring and projecting it. The specific world you experience is dictated by vasanas. These are your subconscious configuration files, the hidden desires and inherited scripts that act as the code to personalize your version of the matrix. The ancient Yoga Vasistha illustrates the power of these scripts with the story of King Lavana. While sitting in his court, a sudden thought form seized his mind, instantly transporting his awareness to a desolate, distant land. Lavana endured a grueling chronological ordeal, losing his kingdom, starving as a hunter, and surviving a 70-year famine. When he eventually threw himself into a fire to end his suffering, the simulation glitched. He jolted awake back on his throne, realizing that 70 years of lived experience had occurred in just 2 minutes of real time. This diagram shows how Lavana's experience is possible. Because time and space are internal measurements, they have no fixed span. Entire functioning universes can exist within the space of a single atom. Biological death is simply consciousness waking up from one rendered dream. Once the current file closes, the system loads a new universe based on your remaining configuration files. This leaves us with a question of origin. If we are caught in a loop of rendered files and suffering, who built the system? Ancient philosophy describes this through Lila, or divine play. It suggests that pure consciousness, bored by its own infinite perfection, fractured itself to play a cosmic game. To make the game immersive, the architect has to forget its own identity, hiding its immortality behind the script of death and its omniscience behind ignorance. This means the very awareness you are using to process these words right now is the same awareness that designed the world you see. You are the programmer, playing hide-and-seek behind a human mask. Beating the game requires a shift in focus. By observing your inherited scripts, the reactive emotional triggers, you can begin to delete them while the simulation is still running. This begins by silencing the 5 senses. When you stop reacting to the survival pixels of the simulation, the background processes of the matrix become visible. With the illusion broken, the solid, terrifying walls of a concrete city dissolve into a glowing, weightless lattice of pure light. True freedom is becoming a lucid player. You continue to go to work and love your family, but you participate in the world with the absolute certainty that you are the one holding the controller.